GM guys, welcome to the web development and bot creation class today. So I welcome you guys from wherever you are, and I hope you all had a beautiful day today. So today we are going to talk about web development and bot creation. So we wouldn't focus much on web development today because web dev is vast. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about web development today, and we're going to focus more today on Telegram bot creation specifically. So, what is web development? Web development is um, the act of building web applications or softwares that run on the mobile browser. All right. So, web development is widely broken into two categories. We have the front end and the back end. So, we have front end developers that build everything we get to see on our web browser, while backend developers handle all the logic of our web applications on a web server. So front-end developers use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build the front end of the website. So HTML, meaning hypertext markup language, is used to build the structure of the website, while CSS, which stands for cascading style sheets, is used for the styling and the beautification of the web page. JavaScript, on the other hand, is used to add functionality to the web page. Of course, in 2024, developers do not use just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript anymore. Frameworks and libraries such as React, Angular, and Next and Next and so on, they're used to streamline the building process for web applications and also provide a better development experience for developers. Then for backend development, we have languages like PHP or Node, Python, and so on. Now these are used to build these are used to manage the backend logic and also the database of the web application. So the front end developers and the back end developers come together to build a live working web application. And we also have full stack developers. So full stack developers are developers that use both front end and back end technologies to build web applications. So they're neither focused on front end or back end. They do both. They use both. So that's a brief introduction about web development. So every website you get to visit, every website you even the one you're currently on at the moment was a result of one of the vast technologies that are available in the web development space. Okay, so moving down to bot creation. So we've been able to cover the basics of web development, and now we'll be moving to bot creation, specifically Telegram bot creation. So what is a bot? Bot is an automated program designed to perform specific tasks. Examples are chatbots, trading bots, and automation tools. So I like to refer to bots as programs or softwares that do not require the front end. So they don't require front end, and that is vastly because you are building on an existing application. So Telegram gives developers the opportunity to incorporate bots to their bots into their system. So rather than having to focus on the appearance of your bots, that is taken away from you, and you just have to focus on the logic of your bot, and that's one of the beautiful things about building on Telegram. So what are the types of bot we have, and streamlining it down to the Web3 space? So we have transaction bots and community bots. analysis bots, and these bots are used for several functions such as automating the swapping of tokens, staking, um, facilitating communications in groups, and also monitoring blockchain data. We can also use them to uh, manage liquidity pools, that's for DeFi automation, and also to moderate conversations around polls in DAO communities. So the use case of bots are endless. So as you can go wild with bots. You can be as creative as you want. So whatever functionality you would want to implement, especially in the Web3 space, bots would be a great way to go about that. And the, some benefits of using bots, especially in the Web3 space, is the efficiency, the availability, scalability, and the precision. Because your bot is always online, so it's and it being online makes it the perfect tool to automate tasks, and also it can handle large scale operations effectively, and also it comes with minimal errors. So now we'll be jumping into how to actually create a Telegram bot. So the first step to creating a Telegram bot is having a Telegram account. I'm sure most of you should have a Telegram account. If you don't have a Telegram account, please go to Telegram and sign up for an account. And after that is done, the next step is to search for Botfather. So after searching for Botfather, you should be brought to something like this. So this is Botfather is at Botfather, and it has the blue check to show that this is a verified Botfather account. So with Botfather, Botfather is what is the one bot to rule them all. Use it to create new bot account and manage your existing bots. So um on with this link you get to learn more about Telegram bots, and then with this other link you get to learn more about the bot API, which we will be using for this tutorial. So the API gives you a comprehensive list of everything you can achieve with a Telegram bot. So basically the do's and the don'ts. So let's head into creating our first bot. So you start with you initiate a conversation with Botfather by clicking the start button like I did. Then the next you create you click on this command, or you can type it out if you choose. I'll click on it. So let's choose a name for our bot. I would like to call it TG bot TG bot creation tutorial. Okay, now so the next rule is you need to pick the username for your bot. Now the username you pick for your bots must end with bot. So whatever you're gonna pick, it has to end with bot. So you can't use a name that does not end with bot. So whatever you do, it might have an underscore before it or not, but it must end with bot. So I'm gonna use the same name initially with a bot at the end. And that's it. So after creating your bot, you have access to a token or your key, which you can use to interface with your bot. So we'll talk more on this later. But just remember to keep this safe and do not share this. So please guys, do not try to copy my access token or my key, but even if you choose to do so, I would revoke this and create a new one after the end of this video, so you won't have access to it if even if you choose to do that. So to create your Telegram bots, there are like a couple of ways to go about it, right? And for today's tutorial, we'll be using PHP to build the backend for our bot. And please note that you're not limited to using just PHP. You can use almost any backend language or framework to build your bot. So you can use Node, you can use Python, you can use Rust, you can use, whatever you're more comfortable with if you are a back-end developer already. So whatever you're more comfortable with, you can use to build a Telegram bot. And outside building it from scratch, there are packages and libraries out there that you can also use to build. But for today's class, we wouldn't be using any library or package. We'll be doing it from scratch. So it's to give you an idea of what goes on behind the scenes, how it works, why it works in a certain way, and all of that. So guys, I also want you guys to be aware that to use the bots, you would need a live server. So it wouldn't work if you're trying it on localhost, because the where you're calling the endpoint from must be secure. So it has to have HTTPS enabled. If it isn't just HTTP, it wouldn't work. That is one of the requirements for using the bots. So for today's tutorial, I've gone ahead to set up a temporary domain on Hostinger, and this is what we'll be using for today's class. So from the bot, I was able to get my token and I've set up my temporary domain. If you do not have access to a temporary domain, you can send a message in the comment. I will tell you, or I'll give you the steps on how you can go about that, how you can set up something for yourself and move forward from there. But please know that it would only work for PHP sites. So if you want to use Node or something else, there are other ways to go about that, but I'm talking specifically for PHP. So this is the admin panel, the file manager for my temporal site here. So jumping into the public HTML, we're greeted with this default.php page, which is this page we have here. So in order to um, have your bot working, you would need to set up your webhook. So your webhook basically is an endpoint or a place where the messages that your bot receives, where it sends them to. So whenever someone interacts with your bot, just the way we interacted with bot father here, and we sent in the start, we sent in the new bots, we sent in the name and the username and all of that. So for the bot we're about to create, the messages that the user will type in, where should Telegram send this message to? That's what we're going to set up next. So basically, that's going to be where all the messages will be delivered, and that's going to be where the logic will be handled. That's going to be the entry point for the bot on the server. I hope that is hope you guys get that. If you don't, please drop a comment so we can go over that again. So this is what it looks like to set up the webhook. So you go to https forward slash double forward slash api.telegram.org forward slash bots, followed by the token we got. So my token starts from 780 and ends with KLK. As we can see here, 780 and KLK. So this is the format in which you set up the webhook, and then forward slash set webhook and the question mark URL and the URL of your page. So mine is this, my temporary domain name forward slash default.php, which is this same that we have here. So if we do that, it brings us back to here. So I want to set the webhook to this point here, and if you run this from your end, you're going to see true webhook is set. Since I've done mine already, it says webhook is already set. So from my end, we jump into our code so we can handle the request. So before we move further, I want to bring your attention to the Telegram bot API. So the Telegram bot API, this gives you a comprehensive list of everything you need for your bot. So um, from authorizing the bot and to making requests, everything you need. So just this was what we just did, which where we set up the webhook. So it gives you tells you the required parameters and the optional parameters, so everything you need. So we can get updates, set webhook, delete webhook, get webhook info or webhook info. So whichever endpoint we choose to call, it's all of whichever endpoints we have access to, it's all here. So under the available types, now these when we start handling the messages, you get to see that these are the types that are available to us. So the user, the chat full info and whatnot. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see how we can get the updates from Telegram and return a useful message to the user. Okay, so this is my default page. So I'm gonna go ahead to clear everything up here because I do not need this. Okay, so now we're going to jump into the code. So before we move further, right, I just want to quickly say that the same concept applies. So even though the syntax we'll be using for today's class will be purely PHP, but the same concept applies to any other language. So if we're going to use Node, or if you want to use Node or Python or something else or C Sharp, whichever you're more comfortable with, you the same concept applies. So the the data that Telegram sends to this endpoint is going to be in JSON. All right, I would give an example of how the data looks like, so you will have an idea. So irrespective of which backend you're going to use, it's going to be the same data that hits the endpoint. So it's going to be left for you to handle it how you the language that you're more comfortable with using handles such requests. So for PHP, I'm going to show you guys how we do that. And if you want to learn for any other language, please also comment so we can have that running as well. Okay, so I've taken the liberty to write some code here. So I would explain what every single line does. So this block of code here is a function that writes to a file. And the purpose of this function is to write the update that we're getting from Telegram, write it to a file so it will help you visualize how the data from Telegram comes. And I would show you an example of how that works. So from Telegram, from bot folder, you can click on come to the menu and click on the my bots, and it will list your bots out for you, and you can see the bots we just created. So click on it brings us here. So if you're interacting with the bot for the first time, it's going to give you the opportunity to start, but I have interacted with this already, so that's why I want to see that. So this start message I just sent would be sent to our endpoint here, and if everything works correctly, it's going to create a file called update.json here that I can have access to, and it is going to give me everything exactly. So this is my update.json, but I would not open this file because opening this file would expose my chat ID, and I don't think I want to do that. So rather, I would leave you guys with a picture, an example of the data that we are expecting. So we're expecting in the chat ID, which is unique to every Telegram user. The message ID, which is coming from the chat, and the dates and the text of the content of the message or the chat. And it also has this value telling if it's a bot or not. This is an example
of the data that we're expecting from Telegram. So having that in mind, we jump back into our updated PHP. So this is it. So this next line, it's to receive the data from Telegram and to decode it because it's sent as JSON. So we want to decode it so we can use it as an object or as an array. So we get the chat ID from this. So we can see it's a message chat ID. It's similar to what we have with the message object, the chat, and then the ID. And we're getting the username from the message chat first name. That's the username. So message chat first name. There's also username as we can see here. And then the message is message from text, and as you can see, message text. And we'd also need the token. So we need the token if we are going to send back a message to the user. That would come in handy. It's very important for us to be able to do that. Okay, so what we are going to get, navigate to the URL, which is https api.telegram.org/bots. And here we're going to need our token. Then after the token, we're going to need this method, which is the send message method. All right. And the send message method takes two required params, which are the chat ID and the text. All right, and we're going to say file gets content URL. Okay, so I'm using this function so I will be able to easily send out messages. So if someone comes and starts a conversation with the bot with start, my reply to the person would be welcome to my new bots. So let's go ahead and see if this works. And in case I can't recognize what the command from the user is, and we'll save. So this looks good. We jump into our bot and let's try. Hey, welcome to my new bot. So with this we can build on this to have something more complex and complicated that handles a lot of use cases, a lot of scenarios, and we can also return keyboards in case we do not want the user to type directly into the text. We can give the users predefined keyboards that they get to click on to interact.
Okay, guys, so as you can see, this is a very basic Telegram bot working. And so from this, like I said, we can expand on this and we can build something way more complex that monitors the transactions on the blockchain or moderates a community group chat. So, however, the possibilities are endless, and with the introduction of Telegram mini apps and the games, it even makes it more robust as developers to build more exciting and cool stuff. If you want to see a tutorial on that, on us going deeper into Telegram bot creation, and also if you want to see it in a language that you prefer, maybe not PHP, it could be Node, it could be Rust, it could be Python, just drop it in the comments. So with that said, we are going to come to the conclusion of this introductory class, and I hope it's been enlightening. I hope you took something away from this class. If there's anything you didn't get, if there's anything you did not understand, please do not forget to leave a comment in the section. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section or message us on uh, WhatsApp group chat. Whichever platform you decide to drop your messages or your questions, they will be answered promptly. So thank you for your time. Thank you for taking the time to participate in this. I hope to see you guys next time.